Alright, welcome all. Today I'm just going to show you how to create a logo or an icon using some browser-based software called vector.com. So it's vector without the O in there. So you can just go to that in your browser and it's going to open up this web page. Now, this is some software that helps us make vector graphics, which are really helpful for things like logos. Because it means we can make them as big or as small as we want without losing file quality. So so you're going to end up on this landing page, and instead of just going to the use online button, we're actually going to create an account because that will allow us to save our files and come back to them later. If you just go to use online, you'll lose your changes if you close your browser. So click on here. That'll take you to a page where you can create your account. So it says need an account. You can sign up down the bottom here and put in a username. You can add your school email in there and choose a password and sign up. And that'll take you to, I think it takes you to a new document. I've already created mine, so I've got a page like this with all my different files. We're going to create something like this over here today. So I'm going to take you through the steps to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a new file. You might already have a new file on your page. To do that, I'm just going to click the create a new file button, and quite quickly it's popped up a whole new file for me. So this is the basic user interface. It's pretty, compared to Illustrator or something, it's a bit more straightforward to use. There's less options. So first thing I'm going to do is give my file a name. So I can go up the top right here and click File Settings, and we're going to call this Tropical Sound System Logo. So that's the name of my fictional band that I'm making my logo for. And then I'm just going to hit Save File Name. I'm going to keep it as pixels because we're working digitally. And that should save my name. And then the next thing I want to do is maybe change the size of my canvas, my artboard. So I can go over to the left here and click Pages. You'll see down the bottom there's some dimensions. So it's nice and square for us. We're going to keep it square. I'm going to make it a bit bigger. I'm going to make it 1080, which is a good size for video formats and things. So 1080 by 1080. If you want to make it a rectangle or something, you can unlink it there and change the other dimensions, but we're going to keep it a square for today. And you might notice it's zoomed in a little bit weird. So to zoom, bottom right here, we've got this zoom panel, and I'm just going to try and center it a little bit. Let's zoom in a touch more. Right, maybe let's go out to 40%. There we go. Cool, so I've got my canvas or my artboard in the middle there, and I'm just going to switch this back into my layers. We won't need to touch the pages panel anymore. I can go to layers, and cool, so our document's all set up. So when I'm creating my logo, what I want to be doing is referencing the sketches that I've done. So yeah, you can use either just one of your sketches, or you might find a combination of some of your sketches might really pay off. So I quite like this sort of way that these two words stack together, and I quite like these rounded kind of letters too. So I'm thinking I might go along this kind of line for my typographic elements, and then this palm tree is looking pretty cool too. I'm thinking that, so I might incorporate the palm tree into my logo, plus have these two words stacked, and also the circle looks pretty cool too. So I might use those three elements in my logo design. Next thing we're going to do is start adding some text. So one of the key elements in a logo is our text. Add text, you just go down to this little text icon down the bottom there, and I just draw a rectangle. So I just click and drag, adds my text. My first word is tropical, So I just click that. Then I can just click anywhere outside of it, and it's deselected it. You can see it's added a new layer to the top left here. Then to change the colors and the fonts, I just click that box. So just so the box is selected, and I get all these options on the right hand side. So first thing I'm going to do is make it a bit bigger, because I can hardly read that. So you can either just keep pressing that to make it bigger, the arrows on the side, or you could do, let's add 100 pixels. Pretty big, still not big enough. Let's try 200. That's nice and big. And you'll see the last couple of those have been cut off. That's because my box is too small. So I can just click and drag that out, make my text box a little larger. And that's not too bad a font, but I want to customize my logo a bit more. Open Sans is a fairly generic sort of font. I'm going to click and have a look through all these fonts that load. Now, these fonts, it's pulling in from Google Fonts. So at the top here, I've got the Google Fonts website all open. It doesn't grab all the fonts, so you can't just look at anyone and hope that it's in there. But it's a good idea to, it gives you an idea of the range of the different fonts it uses. So let's click down on our fonts, and I was thinking a nice sans serif font. It's letting me scroll. Let's go with Montserrat. And that gives us a nice sort of round, clean sans serif font. Other things you can do is you can center the font, you can right align it. I'm going to keep it left aligned. We can change the letter spacing, so I might want to tighten it up a little bit. I think that's looking pretty good. Tighten up the space between each letter. And the color. So to change the color, you just drag around here. Let's just make it a nice little tropical blue for the moment. We're going to update this later. I'm actually going to make it white later, but you can change the color there. And we can even put a border on our text. So you might see there's this border option. To make that available, we just check that box there. And then let's actually put a little green line. I'm going to make it black so you can see it. And it's only 1 pixel in size at the moment. If I make that bigger, you can see it's got a nice little outline on it. I don't actually want an outline for this one, so I'm going to uncheck that. Scroll down, you can put shadows and things. You can change the opacity of it. But I'm going to leave all those for now. Cool, so that's our first word in. I'm going to add my second word in now. So I'm just going to use the text box again, text box tool. I'm going to draw another text box in. And my last word is, I'm actually going to do it in all capitals, because I think that'll look kind of cool. Alright, it's way too big, so I'm going to select, just click off it, select it. You can see it's cut off a lot of my font because it's just way too big. Let's make it 100 pixels. Still a bit too big, but I'm going to change the font, and I've got a font in mind for this one. I quite like this one called, where is it here? Creepstar. Oh, it won't let me do it that way. I'll have to scroll up to see. There it is. Cool. So I think this is looking pretty cool. Quite like that green too, actually. I could change the colour. Could make it a bit more of a greener green. And I'm going to position that under there. I might make it a little bit smaller so it lines up the rest of my logo more evenly. And then I've got the start, and you can see I've got a layer over there for each text layer. I can turn these on and off, so without deleting it, I can just turn it on and off with this little eye icon, or I can right click and just remove it. That'll delete the whole layer. I'm going to keep them there for now. Alright, the next thing I want to show you, so that's the text tool. The next thing is drawing shapes. So you've got 3 different types of shapes. I'm going to put a circle around this. So select my ellipse tool, and then I just click and drag, and you'll notice it's kind of squishing it into an oval shape. If I hold down shift and drag, you're going to get the whole circle popping up. So that's the circle there. Move that around, and you can see it's all filled in. I want to be able to see the text through there, so I'm going to change the color of it. Actually, I'm going to just uncheck this background color. and that'll show me what's behind. But I want to put a line around the outside. So I check my border mark, and I'm just going to pump that up a bit. Might actually make it as wide as my text there, so it's nice and neat. So just by eye, be around the 20 pixel mark, and we'll change the colors in a minute. Cool, so that's my circle around the outside. Things are a bit not lined up at the moment, so I'm going to try and select that text, but I can't because my circle is over the top of it. So what I have to do is drag that circle down to the bottom layer, and then I should be able to select the text because it's on the bottom there. To move both bits of text, I can just hold down Shift and select each of them. Then I can drag them both around and put them at the bottom of my circle, because what I want to do is draw in, I'm going to draw a little palm tree icon up above there. So first I might just show you how to select the color. So I'm going to select my circle here and change the color. I can actually select any other color. So if I want to make it the same blue as my text, I can use the eyedropper tool, have a look in there, and you can see it's updated the color to match. So that starts to make things look nice and neat. Alright, last thing I'm going to show you really is the pen tool. So using the pen tool takes a little bit of practice, but that's just on the side here, and that helps us make really cool icons. So to use the pen tool, you just click once, and then I can click up here. This is going to be the trunk of my palm tree. Click again, and I'm actually going to click and drag, and you'll see that's going to create a curve. So click and drag, got a little curve there, and now my next point is going to be curved again, but I don't want it to be curved. I want it to be nice and flat, because that's going to be the top of my trunk. So what I can do is hold down the Control key and move this little arm around. I'm going to drag that back onto itself, and then I can draw a straight line again. So click there, and actually that wasn't quite, I'll make it a bit skinnier. So to undo, you just hit Control Z. I'm going to come back to the bottom there and click and drag, because that wants to curve around again. It's starting to look like a bit of a trunk. Once again, holding down Control, dragging that back onto itself. And to finish off my shape, I need to click back on the original point, and then you've got this nice shape. Now I reckon the border's a bit thick on that, so I'm going to drop that down to 2 pixels. I'm going to change that again in a minute. That's the trunk of my palm tree. Then I need some leaves for my palm tree, so I'm going to start off around here, click over here and make it a bit of a curve. It's the top of my leaf, and then once again Control, drag that back onto itself, and then some nice jagged parts to make that palm tree leaf kind of thing happen. And back to the start, that makes it a full shape. I'm actually going to fill this in, so I'm going to hide the border, click the fill area, leave it green for now, why not? And I can actually duplicate this by just right clicking on it, save us a little bit of work. Duplicate, and then rotate, place that up there. And then I'm going to make another copy of that, duplicate, see it's there. And I can actually mirror this because I want them coming out the other side as well. So I can hover over here, I can go flip horizontal. Oops, I've just moved the circle by accident. Control Z, undo that. There we go, might keep rotating. Beautiful. Duplicate that again. Rotate. Down like that. And I've got this kind of cool looking palm tree coming together. So I might grab my trunk as well, just click on that. Let's give that a fill. Different. Let's select that blue color. It's often better to have a minimal color palette. You don't want too many colors going on. Cool. So this is looking pretty nice, I think. I might actually select each of these. Instead of selecting each one in there, I can actually go use my layers, hold down shift and select all those shapes, and then I can move this around a little bit. So I might drop it down there, make it a little bit bigger, make this circle a bit smaller. If I want to be really precise, I can use the positioning tools down here. So I might, let's go 20 and 20. I might just move it across a little bit, get it nice and centered. It's looking pretty well centered in there. Now the next thing we're going to do is add an image into the background of our logo. So because we're going to use this one as a profile picture, I reckon just a bit of an image in the background is really going to bring it to life. Grab the attention of people as they're scrolling through some sort of feed. So first thing you need to do is download an image. And I really like unsplash.com. Great place to find a whole range of different images. I've gone ahead and searched for a beach, gone for the tropical vibe. I want some sand and palm trees and blue skies, all those lovely things. And then I've just downloaded this image, hit the little download link, down it downloads, and then I can go back to my page here and I can actually click this little upload an image icon. I'll just get rid of that so it's not there. Upload an image, and you can see here's the image that I downloaded before. It'll probably be in your downloads folder. I've just moved it around a little bit, but you're going to find the image that you just downloaded, and then it might take a second depending on your image size, and you see that's just placed it over the top of everything. So I might zoom out a little bit, and I want it to take up my whole artboard there. So there's no white gaps. So I'm just going to make it. Now I'm holding down, if I don't hold down shift, it changes the size. So hold down shift while you do it. Otherwise you end up with a warped image. And we don't want that. Cool, so that image is placed roughly where I want it. And what it's done is it's added our image to the top layer. We want this as a background, so I'm going to drag that to the bottom so that we can see our whole image. Alright, a few bits seem to be hidden. Not sure what's going on there. Zoom in a little bit. Seem to be missing a few elements. Not sure what all that is about. Okay, how odd. Glitch going on in here. It's weird. And drag that to the bottom there. Cool, so might just zoom in a little bit again. Now, it's starting to look okay. It looks a bit messy with all the different colors going on. So I'm going to make everything white. So I'm going to just click on there. I have to grab each individual element. So bear with me. Now my circle there. Okay, let's select that. Okay, select that one. If you're having trouble selecting different parts, you can always just select them in the layers panel here. So I might select each of those, change it to white. This guy, change that to white. This one, change that to white. Nearly there. All right. So this is starting to look pretty good. I'd still say it's a little bit difficult to read. There's a lot going on because of my background image here. So I might actually take the opacity back on this image. So if I scroll to the bottom of here, I can reduce the opacity. It starts to stand out. But what's happening now is because the background's so light, we're losing that logo. So I might add a rectangle into the background. Just draw outside of the canvas there. I'm going to make it a nice pastel blue to fit in with our image. Let's go with a nice, somewhat darkish blue and drag that all the way down to below our image. That's starting to look pretty cool. Might even change the opacity a bit more on our background image. I think that's starting to work. There we go. So I'm pretty happy with the way that's looking. So yeah, next thing I can do is export it once you're happy with it. So export is just up the top here. Hit the export link. It gives you a preview. We want to keep it set at page so it saves everything on our canvas. And there's a couple of different file type options. We want to choose JPEG. If it was just our logo, SVG is really good because it goes to all sorts of sizes without pixelating. We're going to choose a JPEG, and I might make it 100% quality. Then you just hit download. That will slowly download. Once it processes, should download to our downloads folder. And if I just open that up, see we get our finished result there. So then you can upload that to your website, and you can also save it for later because we'll use this at a later date when you start actually designing your own user profile. So thanks for that. That's how you use vector.com to create a logo or an icon, and a few other little hints and tips along the way. So thanks for watching.